Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I'm J-Man.
And today we are talking about Caillou. Caillou is an interesting show. Well, let me tell you a bit about it before we go into too much detail. Caillou is a Canadian educational children's television series that was first shown on Toon and Teletoon. I guess that's the French version that I've just... That was my French iteration of it. With its first episode airing on the former channel on September 15, 1997, the show later moved to Treehouse, with its final episode being shown on October 3rd, 2010. The series, based on books from Helena Despoteau, again apologies for my pronunciation, centers on a 4-year-old boy named Caillou, who is fascinated by the world around him. Although the show would become a hit for its target preschool demographic, it has been heavily panned by critics and parents for the title character's bratty, entitled personality that was seen as a negative influence on younger viewers. The show has been popularly mocked on social media, with numerous parodies and memes based on the show. Now, the reason we've chosen to do this today is because it's just been in the news that in America, PBS finally taking it off the air, to which everyone seems overjoyed. I saw this story and had never heard of Caillou. Had you ever heard of Caillou?
No.
No, we, as far as I'm aware, it's never been aired over here.
Right.
I can't seem to find any information that says it has. Maybe I'm wrong. You can find it on YouTube, so, you know, I guess no one should rejoice that much that it's gone. However, I was not aware of it until I read this story. So just to sort of fill you in on this reception, and I mean, I'm going to include some theories here that go quite dark, to be honest. I'm surprised this is on a Wikipedia page, some of this. The way it's written, it's quite amusing as well. So Caillou has received extremely negative reviews worldwide. In a May 2017 article from the National Post, writer Tristan Hopper identified Caillou to be, and I quote, quite possibly the world's worst university reviled children's program, noting a stunning level of animosity for a series about the relatively uncontroversial daily life of a 4-year-old boy. The series is known by many people to be an extremely negative influence on children, as the main character often throws tantrums and gets what he wants and is never punished for it. There are several I Hate Caillou pages made on Facebook, posts saying that Caillou is a rip-off of Charlie Brown, numerous parenting blogs criticising the series, and petitions on change.org for the show to stop airing. A common criticism towards the series is the petulant, manipulative and spoiled behaviour of the titular character, the lack of consequences Caillou is given, and the poor parenting presented in the parents' characters. As Hopper explained, to quote again, "This has understandably led to theories that this is an accurate portrayal of Canadian parenting and that Canada is raising a generation of psychopaths, or or that Caillou's parents are so blasted on Canadian weed that they are unable to summon the presence of mind necessary to properly discipline their child." End quote. The episode Big Brother Caillou was notoriously banned because of the scene where Caillou pinches his newborn sister Rosie and is not punished for it. Hopper called the series a toddler version of Sex and the City, or Mad Men, criticising its lack of educational value. Another quote, "Unlike most children's programming, Caillou makes almost no attempt to educate its young audience. There are no veiled math problems, spelling lessons, or morality tales. It's just calm, non-threatening, bright-coloured people navigating everyday tasks. So these criticisms of the show's titular character have been echoed on online platforms. On a segment of the late night talk show last week tonight, host John Oliver hyperbolically exclaimed, I mean, I'm going to cut out the expletives, but F you, Caillou, in a comedic comparison. And then this is sort of what I was warning you about. As Caillou appeared as a much younger child in the original line of children's books, he originally had no hair. When illustrators found that adding hair made him look unrecognisable, it was decided that Caillou would never have hair. This has led to an urban legend that the protagonist has cancer.
Oh.
Which I thought was a bit extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason's clearly there. A 2011 study conducted at, this is just more of a fun fact, University of Virginia, published in the journal Pediatrics, tested the show's effects on preschool-aged children's attention spans and cognitive abilities. The show had 3 groups of 4-year-olds, each engaged in activities. One group watched Caillou, another watched SpongeBob SquarePants, and the third group drew pictures. After 9 minutes, the children were tested on mental functions. Those that watched Caillou had very similar results to the group that drew pictures, both of whom performed significantly better than the group that watched the SpongeBob episode. So just a fun fact for you there. Okay, so Caillou. We watched the first episode, and we also watched a compilation on YouTube of his brattiest moments. And I've got to say, the first episode was very different
Oh, yeah.
to those brattier moments, presumably from later episodes. I feel like something happened in between.
Yeah, I feel like there's an event that goes down that changes Caillou.
Because, so this first episode, without, going too much into it, it's basically trying to find an item for show and tell.
Yeah.
And he wants to surprise everyone in his class with something that he really likes. And then in the end, he gets his dad to help him, and he takes in his sister.
Yeah, which seems weird.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, he has fun with his sister and he likes his sister, so he takes her. It's his little sister.
Yeah.
So,
We've seen the show and tell like a handful of times in just the episodes we've watched as well.
Yeah.
It's a classic. It's a classic format.
Yeah, and I would say he didn't seem, because I watched this and I thought he seems fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with him. Like he was just playing. There was no tantrums or anything. But when we watched the compilation, it's on YouTube. All you have to just search Caillou's worst moments or
It sounds like you just have to search Caillou and everybody else will do the rest of the work for you.
And and it was like, I can see why parents hate it. Because he's constantly whinging.
Yeah.
But also, I will say, how many times have you seen that in real life? The only thing I could think was that it's like a really good way of stopping a nation from populating. It's like scaring you from having kids.
Yeah, just like, imagine if they're like this all the time.
Yeah. And because it was like, you've seen kids like that a lot, when you're out and stuff, because they do get, like, even the best kids at times, they'll have tantrums, they'll get upset, they're a bit tired or whatever. But equally, I can kind of go along with the fact that what's the point in putting that in a show for kids?
Yeah. That's what's weird, is like, who's it really for? Because like, as those reviews clearly said, like, there's not really anything educational about it. Like
No.
it's like reality TV for kids.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is probably what you're going to be doing at school later today.
That's the thing. Like as far as representing, that side of a child, I don't think I've ever seen anything on TV so realistic.
Mm. Yeah,
it's start to think like, why?
Yeah, why is this necessary?
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the show and tell stuff we've seen before, or you'll see in other stuff, like there's always a dilemma involved in the show and tell that's way more than like, I just like I've played with my friends and they've seen these toys before. Like there's usually like something like, pretty intense, like as far as the character's concerned, like there's a reason that they need to do something for show and tell, or like they've got a plan and it won't work out, and there's always like a few things going on to like drive the motives of the character. But like this is, I mean, it's all over in like 7 minutes anyway, so it can't be an epic tale. Which, I mean, the timing isn't necessarily an indicator of how much stuff you can get done, as we know, but like it's very laid back. So it's a steady 7 minutes for him to arrive at like, oh, I'll just take my sister with me. And it's, there really isn't anything to fill it out either. It's not like you're like, well, this bit, there was several hilarious moments that I remember, or like this bit was really puzzling, and I had to kind of unpack it, or like, this shows some real, it's a real moral guide for the kids. It's literally just like him figuring it out. Like you can almost hear every thought he has in his way to like choosing what he's gonna take with him the next day. And there's very much like nothing in between either. So yeah, it's weird it's kind of a weird watch, really. Like
it's bizarre because it's kind of like, I mean, I know, like, so it references like in what I just read out, that someone compared it to Sex and the City or Mad Men, which obviously is nothing alike to them.
Yeah.
You're not going to turn on
like some shows.
Yeah,
the furthest
Don
away
Draper.
From.
I see the resemblance, but it's kind of like in the way that it offers no, like you watch those, it is almost like they've tried to create that same sort of like programs for adults aren't going to have morals in. Some do, but you don't need to put that in there, because at that point I suppose they think you're old enough to know your morals.
Yeah,
you've made your mind up. Whereas it kind of poses the question, it's like are all kids shows educational? Like, should they be?
I think I mean, I think some of the best ones are like in different ways. Yeah, personally,
I think that probably the answer is yes, because at that age, you might as well.
Yeah,
you might as well, because I mean, at a young age, life is about being educated.
And kids at that age, they want to learn, don't they? Like you can tell, like they're eager to learn stuff, which is why they just berate you with questions all the time, because they want to find out about the world and stuff, And
so it's all very well, making, Don Draper Jr. But no matter what, you've got Sans hair. Charlie Brown meets Don Draper. But the kids always pick up on stuff, don't they, as well?
Yeah. So
you can see the sort of why they're so upset by all this.
Yeah. And like the look of it as well, like it looks like it comes from a book, doesn't it? Like it's got that kind of like the sort of brush strokey kind of look to it that's like, oh, this is pulled from a kid's book or whatever. Like so it's I mean, it looks, I guess it's appealing to kids or whatever, because
like visually it looks a bit like Arthur with humans.
Yeah.
So I'm just going through some of the tweets now. This is an article about people hating on Caillou. So, from single baby mama. Parents are rejoicing that Caillou has been cancelled, but for some of us, it's too little, too late. The damage has already been done. From Aussie, PBS cancels Caillou after 20 years. 2021 is already a win. From Autumn Whiskey, children's television programming is one of the single best untold forms of birth control. Exhibit A, Caillou. So they're on the same.
It does work. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's just a few. The rest are all a bit long-winded, but people are pleased.
People don't like this show at all. No. But I mean, my first question would be why put it on for your kid if you hate it so much? That would be my first question to those. Like the damage has already been done. He's already watched 8 seasons of it back to back.
But then you think about, we've talked about before, watching stuff that our parents hated.
Yeah.
When we were younger, so it might be a case of just as they get older, they just put it on themselves.
Maybe so.
Because look at the age-old classic, Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead.
I had to find ways to watch stuff like that though. Yeah. Like it was an intricate mission to watch stuff because A, I knew it wasn't for me, and
South Park.
And B, it was restricted. Yeah, so it was like, oh, okay. So I guess they don't have the restrictions on this one because it's meant to be a kids show.
Yeah.
But still.
And then now, obviously, it's a whole other debate on what's going on there. But with it all being on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that's the new television, isn't it?
Yeah. How do you stop a kid from watching it on YouTube if they're watching YouTube all the time?
Yeah, I think if you unleash your kid onto YouTube, then you've got a whole other set of problems on your hands. I think Caillou is the worst of you. Caillou is way at the bottom of your list at that point. So, but
Caillou's a gateway.
The gateway drug to YouTube. Hey man, I've been on that Caillou for 8 seasons.
Oh man.
You got any PewDiePie in there?
it is just, it's a horrific gateway into it. But let's talk about it on a sort of fundamental level.
Yeah.
Just as what it is. Obviously, we've said there's no educational value in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It looks okay.
Yeah.
He does go to school with a questionably stereotypical Asian girl.
Yeah, that was weird. As it pans around the classroom and it's just like kid. Kind of
yeah. I don't even know what she's wearing.
No, yeah, it's like something.
You'll have seen it before. It looks like something off something old and stereotypical, basically.
Yeah, like it's sort of like a traditional fighting movie. Like, which is like,
I'm pretty sure doesn't Goku's son wear that as a kid?
Yeah, I think he does.
Gohan, is it?
Yeah, classic red-styled Gohan cosplay.
So that's like their only, like the artist's only experience of an Asian child.
Although that's weird because then like 3 kids over, there's like another Asian kid who's just in a t-shirt and shorts.
Move another 3 kids over, and then there's a samurai.
Yeah. the extended cut. Oh man, just keep going to the classroom.
Mortal Caillou.
Yeah, to be fair, Caillou would be like Quan Chi because he's bold. So
yeah,
he is like the ultimate bad guy and a reaper of souls. The bold thing did trip me out though as well because like he is well bold. And like kids younger than him have more hair. Like his sister's
he's just got this.
He's got loads more hair. All the kids in his class have got hair. What is going on? Has he got Benjamin Button syndrome?
Well, you've heard the dark theories.
The dark theory.
The urban legend.
Yeah, maybe it's cancer of the brain, which is why he becomes darker as time goes on.
It could be brain damage of some sort.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more like alopecia or something.
Alopecia.
That's how you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
My apologies. That was, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
But yeah, it could be something along them lines.
It could be. I feel like we miss an episode where something happens to him. Like, in like a typical like thriller where someone like takes a fall or something and it seems like it's nothing, and then 90 minutes later it's like, remember when you fell down the stairs? And it's like, oh no.
Oh no.
I think, like, he gets hit in the face with a fire truck or something, like a toy, not an actual fire truck. He's got a fire truck toy. But I mean, actual fire truck would probably do it as well, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then this is it. Then he starts being the brat. He starts turning, because that kind of thing can happen. Like people's people's moralities change. I'm sure there's a few studies that happened to people that had head trauma, and then their personalities completely changed, and their like inhibitions went out the window, and basically they became quote unquote psychopaths because
is
the brain damage.
TJ Miller?
TJ Miller.
Yeah, is he the actor?
Yeah.
Didn't he have some sort of brain damage?
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And like he became really hard to work with.
Oh, really? Oh, I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give you the entire details because I don't know them well enough to tell everyone about it. But he had some sort of brain altering thing that happened to him. It was it wasn't an accident so much as some sort of illness, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so. Again, apologies, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, and it made him like very difficult to work with, I think.
Oh, all right. So it can happen.
Yeah. And maybe that's what happened to Caillou.
Yeah. Maybe you got an... Yeah, is there an episode where he gets killed?
Oh, no. And then that was it. The fire truck came.
This is it. Caillou 2.
Just a series of him trying to get back on track.
Oh, man. Dark.
I mean, what I don't get is, like, it went for a very long time.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, from what I can gather, it must have been reruns for most of that time. So no wonder they were getting annoyed because it's reruns anyway.
Yeah.
However, it still ran for like well over. It was like 13 years.
That's crazy. It doesn't make sense that when people like a show.
Oh, there's only 4 seasons. Apologies.
All right.
Or 5.
Still, yeah. It doesn't seem like the people that loved it were there campaigning to keep it on. Like, it's weird that when people like a show, it gets cancelled, but when people hate a show, it continues into infinity for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
maybe
how does that
just,
work?
Like selling loads of books off it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. The sort of rating system is still askew. Like, we don't know what the actual, the consensus is on any show at any given time still, despite all the data we've got today. Apparently.
And it must be popular because they're all on YouTube. It's been going for ages.
Maybe it just in Canada.
Yeah, it might just be also a case of a lot of people actually don't think much about it. But there's a loud section on the internet.
Yeah, also very probably, yeah.
But it is a large number on the internet, I must say. I'm just trying to find. It was like something. I was looking at. There was a Reddit page,
right,
that had a stupid amount. It was like around 1 million or something.
Really?
So
that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. So, I guess maybe it is just one of those things. Kids love it.
Yeah.
They just want to be Caillou.
That could well be the problem. As time goes on.
But there you go. I don't know why they don't just change it.
Yeah.
Like make it. I don't know.
Yeah, like the next season it starts and he's got hair, and you're like, what?
Wool.
And he's just like super nice.
But I gotta say, that theme tune is pretty catchy.
Yeah.
So maybe that was all it was. The power of a good theme tune.
And he's pretty happy-go-lucky in there, isn't he? He's just like,
Yeah.
I'm 4 years old, having a good time.
Yeah. My name is Caillou.
Yeah.
So, you know, well, I guess on that, we've discussed the ins and outs of it. Shall we jump over to our ratings?
Yes.
I'm just a kid who's 4. Each day I grow some more. I like exploring. I'm Caillou.
So many things to do. Each day is something new. I'll share them with you. I'm Caillou.
My world is turning, changing each day.
Oh no, a fire truck coming my way.
Boom, 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 boom. Strangling small animals.
Dining in with cannibals.
Spit on my mom. I'm Caillou. 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 I'm Caillou.
Go to hell.
So here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up, no need for a haircut. Thumbs down, dark urban legends. And shaky middle, the entire concept of this show. So, Caillou, we've talked about, I mean, we've spent a lot of time just going over people's thoughts about the whole thing, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, from the episode we watched, you know, the legend of Caillou wasn't really in play. He seemed fairly, you know, fairly relaxed at most times. He had fun with his sister. He wasn't trying to punch her in the face or anything. You know, he was very reserved, and you could see him growing up to be a likable character if he continued in that way. You know, the parent inside of it, they were trying to help, you know, trying to help him out. They seemed like they were trying to, you know, find ways to overcome his problems, even though they weren't or, you know, fantastic or maybe like shocking to people that were in their situations. But and you know, it looks all right as a show. Although, you know, there wasn't much else under the surface, it seems like. You know, we've watched stuff that's been probably for older audiences that had, you know, richer, like, you know, morals underneath it, or, you know, just ideas that that were more than like what you're seeing on screen playing out. So, I mean, it's one of those ones where you think like, well, you know, obviously this isn't for me, it's for a younger audience, but, you know, it's not a show that I'd be like, this will really, you know, it'd be good for the kids to watch.
Yeah.
It's just like nothing really goes on. Like, you know, I'd much prefer a Sesame Street or something for, you know. So for me, from the first episode, I think it's just a shaky middle. Just a shaky middle.
Shaky middle.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. It was just.
So, and that's just, I mean, that's going off the first episode.
That's going off the first episode. So, from what I've heard, it takes a plummet. But
I mean, and you saw obviously the worst moments.
Yeah, I did see some bratty moments, and I mean, you know, I imagine if you're watching that on a daily basis, it becomes really annoying. But
yeah,
I mean, I still don't think they're like as extreme as people make out a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You know, comparing him to Don Draper seems a bit unnecessary. And, you know, again, we've definitely watched stuff just on here that's where, you know, people flip out more, or people, you know, characters make more questionable decisions. So it wasn't, yeah, there's probably more hype around it than there was anything else. But, you know, I'm not a parent, so So I see the world slightly differently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's fair. And as well, like you know, I will agree. The first episode, I was a bit like that. That was the reason I sort of looked up the other stuff, because I was just like, what are people on about? This seems fine. Going over it, yeah, I guess that first episode, there's no morals or anything to it. There's no real reason behind it. It's just a kid's. It's just what happens to him in the day, and then he wants to surprise his mates, and then he does. But I guess I don't know. You compare it to something like, I mean, we've not done loads of younger audience stuff, but we've done a couple. We've done Richard Scarry's.
Oh yeah.
Busy Town. We've done.
We know how that went down.
We've done Okie Doke.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And they did have sort of better morals to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would like, I mean, Okie Doke is stop motion, so it's different in that way. But Busy Town had a similar sort of storybook feel to it. Yeah. I did like the not necessarily the art style, but the way they presented the cartoon as if it was a storybook. You know how it's got sort of a white sort of outline on the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's something like the theme tune. I can't fault it. It's pretty enjoyable. But yeah, having seen those bratty moments, there's no way it's going to be a thumbs up. But I don't know. I guess, yeah. I mean, I can't really say it's thumbs down because it wasn't boring. But then it is a bad example, and no one wants that. I mean, it's one thing. I do think that at times it's realistic, but then you don't want your kids to be like that.
No,
like that's the worst parts of, their attitudes. So why encourage them to do it? So I've got to be a down.
Yeah,
because it's you can see why everyone's annoyed. I agree, it's, he's not cheating on his wife every 5 seconds, Don Draper style, massive disrespecting of sexes, though it is kind of disrespecting of young Asian culture.
Yeah.
Sweet fan.
That's why it's questionable.
But, only slightly, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to be a down. I'm going to give it a down.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, a down and a middle. I mean, for saying the outcry, you'd have thought it'd be 2 downs.
Yeah.
And even I sort of teetered on the edge.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a whole for the show, it sounds like it's a down.
Oh yeah.
I think if we've had to watch more and see him flip out all the time, then we'd have probably been like, I hate this kid.
Yeah. I think had I just seen the first episode, I'd have probably middled it.
Yeah.
But having seen the other stuff as well, I had to go down. So it obviously, it must have got worse and worse. Who knows how quick that happened, though? Yeah. It could have literally been the second episode.
The fire truck theory still stands, though.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so a down and a middle for Caillou. There's going to be some furious parents with that result, no doubt. But hey, that's what we've given it.
Well, yeah. Come see me after school.
That's it. You can come and see us after school on the 3 brats of the internet, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ToonJamPod. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can also rate and review us on whatever you listen to us on. It really, really helps us out. It's super easy to do. And if you want some extra stuff, you can also go over to our Patreon, which the links are on our Facebooks and Instagrams and whatnot. And we've got some bonus episodes up there for you, all sorts of different ones, and you can go through the entire backlog as well. And if you want to check out our older episodes, head over to our YouTube. And you can always catch some Caillou while you're there. But otherwise, as always, thank you for listening. And until next time, you stay bratty.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you and stay jammy.